Okay, so we have some breaking news out of Arizona. A Democratic Congresswoman has just been shot and killed. She was shot in the face by... I don't even need to wait for the news story to come out, because this is just a breaking story that doesn't even come out yet, I don't think. It might have by the time that this video is uploaded, but... I don't even need to read the news article to know who did this and why. It was a right-wing person, either that or it was a false flag operation by our own intelligence services, or, you know, Black Beret or something crazy like this. But it was either them or it was a right-wing person who was falling for their trap by listening to someone like Glenn Beck. So let's take a look at the clip real quick.
We want to turn now to Andy Hill. He is a retired Phoenix police officer. Andy, are you there?
Yes, Marty, I am.
So, first of all, our hearts go out to your community for the tragedy that you have suffered there. And I'm wondering, as a retired police officer, just what you know of what's happened.
Well, first, let me agree with the tragedy, and my condolences to all the families that are going through this right now. We work closely with all the agencies that are local in Arizona with federal agencies like the FBI, so this is a joint investigation that's going on, I'm told, and in any situation like this, you just have to kind of wait and let the pieces begin to fall into place.
Have you heard if the gunman has been taken into custody?
I have been told that by a law enforcement source that, yeah, there is a suspect in custody. I've also been told that, you know, a number of people were shot. I would encourage everybody, of course, as reports come in as to people's conditions, that everybody holds off, as, you know, we just heard from the hospital spokeswoman, because some things are premature or may not be correct. So it's going to take a while to get everything solidified in place for families to be notified of those that were shot. So they want to hold on to that information until they can let the families know what's going on first.
Is there any way to know if we are dealing with more than one shooter?
You know, I do not know at this point. I'm not privy to the investigation. I just know from general circumstance and a couple of conversations with those who are on their way down there that, you know, the initial information about one suspect, as they understand it, is correct. And, of course, the first thing law enforcement does is contain and secure the scene, make sure there's no more threat, treat those who are wounded, get them transported, and try and preserve the scene as much as they can, because obviously the evidence is critical to any further investigation and prosecution.
What evidence could there be on the scene that would aid you in the investigation?
Well, there's going to be evidence. Obviously, it's going to be physical evidence. You know, the gun, anything that was done, any kind of injury where any kind of other device may have been used or any other vehicle was used. You're going to go ahead and obviously interview everybody, try and determine the history of things, why this happened, why this person did what they did. So there's going to be a lot that's going to contribute to the evidence, both at the scene and in terms of background investigation and further investigation.
Andy, stay with us. It is the top of the hour. This is Martin Savage at CNN World Headquarters. We are bringing to you breaking news coming out of Tucson, Arizona. There has been a shooting that has taken place at a grocery store. We have been told that at least a dozen people or more have been wounded. There are reports of fatalities that coming from both law enforcement and from eyewitnesses on the scene. At that event, there was an event, I should point out, Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords was holding a Congress on the corner. This is basically a get-together with constituents. It would have been made public. She would have notified people she would be there. It's her chance to interact with the people she represents in the 8th Congressional District. She is a Democrat, and she has been representing since about 2007 that area. She would have been sworn in like other members of Congress just this weekend. She had returned for the first time back to her constituents to talk to them. Conflicting accounts. We do know that she has been wounded. The hospital says she was shot in the head and is currently undergoing surgery. There are reports that as many as perhaps 6 other people have died. We are hearing that the suspect is now in custody, and that is pretty much where things stand at this particular moment.
don't even think I need to embellish the outrage and the ridiculousness of what has just occurred. We need to organize in some way to protest against Fox News. I'm serious. There's no possible way that this station, quote-unquote news station, which just goes on spewing vicious, violent rhetoric 24/7, can keep going on like this. This is just nonsense, America. This is... Joseph Goebbels would laugh at Fox News. Fox News, Joseph Goebbels would be laughing his ass off that Americans were so stupid and shallow and retarded. You know, Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propagandist minister. This is just amazing. You know, all of the pieces are in place for a Nazi-like fascist regime to take power, just in the same sense that the conditions in Nazi Germany before World War II were, you know, eerily similar to the conditions we find ourselves in right now. We have this united fear and hatred of immigrants, of the enemy who is destroying our country, who's the source of all of our miseries, you know, the Mexicans, of course, or, you know, whatever racist undertones that you want to have. But right now it's being, you know, piloted as these illegal Mexican immigrants, these others who don't belong here, in the same sense as the Jews were used in Nazi Germany. You know, we have a complete lack of a financial system, or of an economic system, destruction of all of the industrial base. We have a frustrated Aryan population, you know, who has these like lingering Aryan racial sentiments. We have conspiracy theories, you know, we have fear, paranoia en masse. We have, you know, this desperation, this desperate vibe, and this vibe that revolution is coming and that nothing is safe. It's all the same as pre-World War II Nazi Germany, and it's very disturbing to see the rise of right-wing sentiment like this, that you would actually go out and shoot somebody in the face, shoot a congresswoman in the face, just because, you know, of something that Glenn Beck or Sarah Palin said. I was reading a news article that Sarah Palin had listed this woman as one of her, you know, one of her like public enemy #1 type figures, and she was constantly going after this woman. It's just crazy. The world that we live in right now is just crazy. People on the right, people on the left, calm down. Can we meet in the center and have both aspects working toward the betterment of our country? The problem is all of this fucking propaganda from Fox, which is screwing up the national dialogue. We can't even have any dialogue. We have propaganda from Fox, we have MSNBC struggling to counter it, but, you know, it's just Fox going nuts. Fox is trying to make some weird right-wing like power play to put some intolerant, dark, racist, evil regime in power, and it is frightening what is happening here. You know, sane people of the world, it's time to take a stand. You know, all good men, it's time to take a stand, just like Gerald Calente said. We need to boycott against Fox News. We need to organize ourselves in the way that Acorn was organized to provide jobs and help for people. We need to do this from a bottom down level and stop waiting for quote unquote them to take care of us. What is wrong with us? What are we waiting for? What is going on? What are we doing?